Hello and welcome to episode number 51. Oops. The title of today's, or the topic today is awareness magic. So this has kind of been popping around in my world a little bit, and it's so interesting how this whole topic of about being aware and looking at and acknowledging your awareness, like, does it actually create magic? Is that something that maybe we've been looking for? um, so it's interesting because it's something that I've been playing with lately, is really acknowledging my awareness and acknowledging um, obviously me in the process, which is kind of fun. It's always fun to acknowledge oneself. And what it really came out of, this whole topic actually came out of the bars, access consciousness bars. So I run the bars quite often. If you don't know what the bars are, you can go to, I believe it's Access Consciousness, the bars, or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. But if you go to the website, you can find it on there somewhere. So, anyways, I get my bars run at least once a week, sometimes more. I prefer twice a week at least. And out of a few exchanges that I've done recently with people, and also I ran bars recently of a friend of mine, which was awesome. And it's just really cool when what that can create and what change that creates. And so what does this have to do with awareness? Well, it's being aware of what my body does and how I interact with the body when I'm running somebody's bars. And that's kind of what came out of, that's how this topic kind of popped up. It was it's something that is so normal in my life, having my bars run. It's something that my body really likes. It asks for it quite regularly, and where and so I do get my bars run, and it creates a lot of space. And so, anyways, I'm also kind of moving. Got so many things going on right now. How can I put them all together into words? So it was really this um, this acknowledgement of what I do and my demand, actually, as well. I have this demand that anyone that lies down on my table to get their bars run by me, they're getting change. That is something that I demand. That's what I ask for when I run somebody's bars. Every single time I run somebody's bars, and and so this awareness of, like, how much I communicate with the body and the being of the person that I'm running bars with, and it's all nonverbal communication, and it's also the awareness that comes out of that um, when you become aware of the energy shifting, the change in the energy when you're running somebody's bars, and kind of that whole everything to do with that. Um, and so taking that one step further, it's like it is really um, talking about how aware we actually are, how little we acknowledge it, and is really this thing called awareness, our awareness, is it really the magic that most people are looking for? Is it really the kind of like the key to unlock the door to a different world? Is your awareness? And so that's how I started looking at this more. And as you acknowledge your awareness way more of it shows up, and instead of just disregarding you, yourself, your awareness, your being, your capacities, it's really that all of those things, that's actually what we're looking for. This is what we're interested in. At least that's something I'm definitely interested in. And that's sort of the beginning of, as it kind of unravels, as you start playing with it more, as you start acknowledging how aware you actually are, that's when the unraveling of the possibilities and kind of the magic that you are, and that you start becoming aware of, that is actually possible. That's when it starts to expand a lot and kind of explode. And it's this place where you start looking beyond what's right in front of you. You start looking beyond what you've been told is possible. And you just keep on looking beyond and being beyond. And that's when your life starts to completely change. And it's also like, if you actually allowed your capacities to fully unleash and to acknowledge and be aware of what those capacities are, your life would completely change. And it is constantly changing. And so, what is it that, um, how much magic can actually be with acknowledging your awareness, and to keep on playing with, uh, and to see how much, one, to see that you actually are aware, and what that creates, and sort of the space and the the I don't know, like the fullness that you actually are, the totality that you actually are, when you start really tapping into that energy, and again, acknowledging that awareness, like how aware you are of this entire world, like entire world, everything going on in probably, for some of you, multiple, like hundreds of thousands of people's worlds. Um, some people talk about in sort of spiritual terms, like the collective, or humanity, or whatever it may be. When you tap into, when you are aware enough to tap into that energy, and see what it is, and you are also part of it. Like, there's no separation in your awareness, your being, and what is possible. Like, it is all intertwined in a way, um, fully connected as well. And so, you being the contribution that you are, and in the way that you choose to interact um, with this reality, beyond this reality, um, to create something completely different than we currently have been creating. It's that awareness. You actually are aware of all that. And how really potent are you? How potent are you that you haven't acknowledged? And would you be willing to acknowledge that right now? Because it's so easy to be aware of all that's going on, and then you make all that intensity a wrongness, or you give it a judgment, like, oh, it's too much, I can't deal with this intensity, which is totally not true. You're just like, oh, this isn't actually all mine. I'm just aware of everything that's going on. I'm aware of like 100,000, a million, millions of people all at the same time. That's how aware we actually are. We are aware of so many different things going on all at the same time. And some people really see this as being too much, too intense, try to shut it off. We'll do all kinds of things. Some people relate to, whatever, drugs or something like that, to like tone it down a bit, when you don't actually have to do that. You just have to acknowledge it's not yours, that you're aware of this intensity, and then really, um, this is like when you become aware and you start not actually becoming aware, because you actually you already are aware. It's more the acknowledgement of how aware you are. And then the choice comes in. What am I going to choose with all the capacities that I am? What am I actually going to choose? Do I want to wake up every day and actually be greater than I was any other time? Is that something you're going to choose? Or are you going to choose to see how small you can make yourself, and how much you can belittle yourself, and how much you can shrink your world, and how much smaller you can make your entire life, and how much limitation you can create? What do you want to choose? Because with all this awareness and all these possibilities, you can create anything. And what would you like it to be? And what if you could go and just choose something and go beyond it? I I uh, I get that sometimes this whole choice thing is kind of strange, and it's really it's really something I really encourage and invite you to play with it. What would you like this world to be like? And if you woke up today or tomorrow or the next day and you could change the whole world, you suddenly were given the magic wand that you could change the whole world, what would you choose? What would you like the world to look like? And then start moving in that direction. Start creating that change in all these little micro steps, choices that actually will create the change that you're looking for. We have these like amazing capacities, and if you are watching this right now, whether it's on this live or it's on YouTube or wherever, on Facebook later, wherever it shows up in your world, if you are watching this, you have so much to offer the world. You are such a contribution to the world. And in what way can you contribute in a way that you've never contributed before? And that's really my ask of you, because I know I'm choosing different. And what if you could choose something different? And what if it really worked for you? It doesn't have to be anything close to what I choose, because we are so different in so many ways and very similar in a lot of ways. So find out what works for you and choose it, and really choose it, and make that commitment to changing the world, however that shows up for you. One of the ways I totally help change the world, is by running bars, and also other things as well. But that's just one small example. I know by getting my bars run, I am actually changing the world. It may seem like a strange thing. Maybe you never even equated that, going to a yoga class or doing meditation or whatever it is actually changes the world. And would you like to choose more of that? So let me know. What would you like to choose? What would you like to change? Excuse me. And what else is truly possible? So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again next week. Have an awesome weekend. Have an awesome week. Love to hear from you. If you want to know a little bit more about me, you can see some of these at my YouTube channel, as well as you can find out a little bit more from me about me, my website, torstentoppel.com. Thank you so much. I appreciate everyone being a part of this, and I will see you later. Bye.